Hello, and welcome back to another episode of
Whistledown, Pinkies Up.
I am Melanie Weir.
And I'm Carly Polistina. And today we are talking about episodes 2 and 3 of season 2 of Bridgerton. And they are, they're spicy.
It's a spicy meatball.
It's true.
So let's get into it, shall we?
We shall indeed. What do you think is your hottest tea from this episode? Or these two, rather.
That's really hard. I'm not sure if the hottest tea is the horse delivery that was rejected or the flashback revealing why Anthony, what is up Anthony's butt, which I feel bad saying now because of the contents of the flashback.
It's true. If you had to throw your money behind one, which would it be that you think is?
It's got to be the flashback. All of a sudden my perspective on Anthony is 100% changed.
That backstory is so real.
It's key.
It really is. And we get so much of it because we already thought we kind of had the origin story to why Anthony is the way he is, but now we have even more. So now we have romantically why he is the way he is, and we have just as a human being, the way he treats Daphne, the way he treats everyone in his life, why he's such a stick.
It's hardened by the fact that he was already predisposed to being a stick, I feel like, to be fair.
It's true.
Because, he is a very black and white person on the surface, but yeah, early childhood trauma will really, really set that for you. Just like a Jell-O pudding.
Absolutely.
So, but before we talk about that, we have to go through episode 2 first, because there's a lot of stuff in episode 2.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like now that we're meshing the two, there definitely is going to be a lot of in and out, back and forth, but you're here for the tea. It's going to be a swanky time. I would also say that the delivery of the horse is potentially the hottest tea, and the thereby rejection of it.
Can you imagine? You are in 1814 London, and a horse is delivered to your front door. And it's a horse you don't... Just the concept of both having a horse delivered to you and then having to send the horse away.
Yes, literally, because also, I think, so what we're talking about, for those who, for some reason, are watching this gossip episode and have not yet caught up, is that, which honestly, pause it, we'll wait, go catch up.
Yeah, you're not going to know what the heck we're talking about.
Yeah, come right back here. But, so Anthony delivers Edwina a horse as a gift, and it's like, I've brought you this horse.
Because you said you loved horses. You're a horse girl. So, obviously you want a horse.
Exactly. And then she's straight up like, I really do not like horses.
I was admiring that one, but I did not want the horse.
Because the other thing that shows is that he is projecting so much of, onto Edwina, everything he actually likes about Kate, because he met Kate while she was on the horse. Mm-hmm. So really the horse is a symbol of the first time he met Kate.
Oh, that's good.
And so, thank you. And so he's like, look, a memory that we share. And she's like, bitch, I was not there.
She was at the horse races, but they go to the horse races all the time. That would be like going to a baseball game with someone and then buying them one of the players' bats.
Yes, exactly. And meanwhile, her sister is literally like, oh, I play it constantly. And he's like, here's this bat. But yeah, honestly, as far as Anthony goes, he is diving so deeply into this whole, I'm going in this for my family, and that's why I'm here. It's emotionally, I'm there for them. It's head over heart all the way in. But hot take, he's clearly into Kate, and going after her sister feels like an odd choice.
And I knew it from the summary because my mom read the second book and she was like, you gotta read this. And I was like, I can't read it until I've seen the show, which is kind of backwards, but I digress. She told me that the plot was, oh, he's courting her sister, but he's in to the older one. And I'm like, weird choice. Why would you? And I thought the show would make it make sense. It still doesn't make sense because the choices that Anthony makes rarely make sense to me. And I said episode 3 gave us context for some things. It did, sort of, but still some of his choices are pretty whack.
No, exactly. It's honest. It's so whack. And then time and time again, we're seeing that Anthony is not disappointed by Edwina because he's not even letting himself get there. He's just kind of expecting her to rise to who Kate is in the box of Edwina, who is like small and kind and
so sweet.
She's so sweet.
She'd be a much better match for Colin than she would be for him.
Oh my God, it's so true. That's really true.
She honestly might be too nice for Colin, though. We've seen what Colin is into. Marina was not nice.
I feel like Edwina needs like a Mr. Bingley type who's like a little boring but also perfect.
Yeah, that guy who keeps hitting on Kate is actually a good choice. There was a guy who hit on her at the horse races and tried to hang out with her, and he was very sweet and very genteel, and like even when Anthony was like one-upping, or no, he was trying to get with Edwina.
Yeah.
It wasn't Kate. Nobody's trying to get with Kate. She's not on the market.
Classic.
But anyway, Edwina threw him out of the way because she was like, nah, Anthony's gonna sit here. And he just was like, yeah, Anthony Bridgerton, good guy, totally. Which is, you could pour soup in my lap and I'd probably apologize to you. I'm projecting onto this man now, but
yeah,
that would be much better.
It's so true.
Like, Anthony expects her to rise to the occasion because that's what he's expected to do, and that's what he holds himself to. He's very much like, okay, I have the role I've been chosen to play, and I'm going to play it well, and it pisses him off when other people don't do that because he doesn't understand that that's not what's actually supposed to happen.
No, exactly. And then we even see it more when we go just bleeding, because if we're following Anthony through episode 2 into episode 3, the croquet game.
Oh my God. He just Dennis Reynolds. This episode in particular has made me realize that Anthony reminds me of Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He tries very hard to be genteel and composed because he's from the upper crust and he believes this is what is expected of him. But everybody knows he's a hothead, and as soon as something minorly inconveniences him, like Kate takes his favorite croquet mallet, he throws it on the ground and throws a tantrum like a little child. And then he's like, no, I'm a grown-up. But like in his head, there's a child throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm an adult. And then it's like, Anthony, come on, you can just let yourself go. And then you have Edwina in that who bows out of the game. Meanwhile, Kate stays and fights.
Yeah, I wrote this down. This is the difference between Kate and Edwina and why one of them is a better match for the Bridgertons than the other. You see them in episode 3 with the whole family out in the country house. And Edwina hates the bickering between all the Bridgertons, which we've seen since literally season 1 at the dinner table scene with Simon.
R.I.P.
That they bicker all the time. It's what they do. It's how they like to show affection to each other, which, like, yeah, I as a person with a number of siblings, I also get. And Edwina doesn't like this. Edwina does not like all the bickering. Kate loves it.
Yes.
So that's why you can see plain as day in episode 3 which one of them belongs in the Bridgerton family.
Exactly. And then going back to follow Kate's path, because I feel like they just get more and more intertwined as it goes on.
They do. I've stopped taking separate notes for Kate.
They're just wanting this together. It's truly insane.
Which everybody can see except for them.
Yes. Oh, it's so real. And then it starts out, they are so insanely similar. It's wild because she is also in this, we learn, for family over everything else purposes.
That is true.
Yeah, like, because she has that whole conversation with Lady Danbury about how she's like, okay, if Edwina marries well, we get a ton of money. And Lady Danbury's like, have you told anyone else in your family? She's like, nah.
Which is a bad move.
Oh, it's just, in any show, if they're like, oh, I haven't told everyone the crucial information, that's the wrong decision.
There's just so much of this show is just, you guys could have simply stopped this by talking to each other, but instead, you decided you were going to handle the problem all by yourself. And there are so many people handling the problem all by themselves that nobody manages to handle the problem because they keep creating new ones.
Yes, it's literally Kate and Anthony are both there looking out for their families, trying to do it all by themselves. So they're going to fight tooth and nail for their families. So that's why they end up coming head to head in this way where other people don't. Because Anthony, his other brothers don't have the responsibility of being the Viscount and heading the family and having to try to find someone who's going to be the Viscountess and like the lady of their whole shebang. And Kate is responsible for making sure her sister's secure and that her family is good and that they can restore their place in society. So without both of them kind of putting aside what they typically would be in charge of doing right now, they're both outsiders to society in this like very interesting and similar way.
Yes, and despite what it looks like from the surface, because it looks like Anthony is very much in society, but he purposefully takes himself out by being kind of above it all, I guess. Whereas Kate is technically not in society, not even technically like, this was wild to me. I just realized she's not Lady Sheffield's daughter, or not Lady Sheffield because she doesn't own the house. She is not like her mother's daughter. She was from a previous marriage that the husband over in India, it was India, just like her mother died when she was really young, and Lady not Sheffield took her in and thinks of her as her own daughter.
Yeah.
But they're not actually related, so Kate is not eligible for the grandparent scheme.
Yeah, it's true. So it's really such a convoluted web, because Kate also, in that, it's yet another reason she's actually not a great match for Anthony's wife.
Yeah.
Because she's not actually of proper birth, while her sister is.
Which is exactly why he's not, like, even considering. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why he's not considering. But, like, even if he were to look at her on paper,
yeah,
he would be like, nah. Which is exactly the point of this entire season. What's good on paper does not always a happy man make.
It's true. So backtracking a bit to follow the vein of yet another character, we get a lot of Benedict in these episodes.
And I am so happy about it. In these 2 episodes, mainly in episode 2, honestly, Benedict has become my favorite Bridgerton. I am so proud of the younger Bridgerton boys. Colin comes back and he suddenly has a little baby mustache, and he's been to Greece, and he knows all these things. But most importantly, he goes up to Benedict and he's like, hey man, look, I know you're trying to apply to art school right now. Super proud of him, by the way. This is another reason I love him. I got this stuff that made my friend focus on a single blade of grass for like hours, and he put some of it in his tea, and I'm like, is that shrooms? What is that? I'm dying to know what drug you could find in Greece that to put in tea to produce those effects. I think it's shrooms, because I think people mixed those into their teas and yield and
like,
bathe.
I feel like it has to be, right? It's some weird drug.
I don't know what else you would, because like people, I think, put LSD and stuff, but LSD was invented by a man in like the 60s, so it's not that. So in any event, they are doing some kind of drug. Colin puts a little drug in Benny's tea, and he's like, this made my friend stare at some grass and do art for hours. And Benedict proceeds to dump the entire packet in there. Colin gave him a spoonful, he dumped the whole packet, and he chugged it, which leads to the best dinner scene I've ever seen in my life.
It's absolutely incredible.
Because first of all, what's going on here is so awkward, because Anthony is planning to propose to Edwina, and it's just not the right anything, and it's too soon, and he doesn't care about her, and his mom and Daphne are like, this is a bad idea. Because also Daphne shows up, and she brings baby Augie.
Yes.
He's so cute. I'm so
cute.
glad that
Oh
if
my
we can't
God.
have Simon,
I know.
they at least featured the baby. Because
fine.
also, Simon would have so much to say about this. I feel like he can't be there also because his sarcastic commentary and like him being wise enough to give Anthony advice would give him away.
Yeah.
Like, it would make it too easy. If Simon were there being level-headed, he could just go up to Anthony and be like, you're stupid.
Totally. Like, he'd get way too involved, and it would work.
It would work. It would be over in like 4 episodes instead of 8. But anyway, she brings baby Augie, and as soon as she arrives, as soon as she speaks to Anthony about, like, his Edwina, he immediately launches into talking about Kate instead and how much she vexes him, and Daphne is on to him. Immediately. And then at dinner, it only gets worse. As soon as she sees them together, she's like, you idiot. So that's all happening at dinner, and there's so much tension, but it's just being broken up with the fact that Benedict is tripping balls the entire time.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
He's just sitting back and giggling, acting completely unbecoming of a Bridgerton in 1814. There's just something about old-time people doing drugs that's like 5 levels of funny. So he throws off this dinner, and I was praying for him to ruin the proposal, but he didn't.
I know. I was praying for the same thing.
Anthony ruined it himself.
Yeah, classic.
Classic.
Honestly, like, we should have seen that one coming.
He just builds up to this big thing, and he's being all grandiose, and he's like, all right, and on that note, everybody have a nice night. The dinner is over. I just leave.
And like, goodbye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye. Take your party favors on the way out. Party favors do not include an engagement ring. Sorry. But we also have to talk about what's happening between Penn and Eloise in these episodes very
Yes.
quickly, because there's not a lot because they're separated by going to the country in episode 3. But in episode 2, there's a lot of conversation between these two that is very... I think it's very changing for Penelope. It's a point where she's like, I gotta change the way I do things, because Eloise points out to her like, hey, sometimes Lady Whistledown just kind of says things and it makes things harder for women. She could be employing her pen to like influence things and make things better for us, but she doesn't, and that sucks. And Penelope tries to defend Lady Whistledown herself for a little while, but then she's like, oh, you know, you have a point. You could be right. And then in the next issue, she's a little bit more helpful to the ladies.
Yeah, it's honestly so amazing to see how much Eloise is not even amazing, but it's interesting to see how much Eloise is influencing Lady Whistledown at every turn, because she's clearly obsessed with it, and we'll turn to Penelope to start talking to her about it, and then we'll be like, yeah, you know, like, I just think Lady Whistledown could be better, and here's why. And Penelope cannot resist, but also, like, on the other note, to kind of take that bait. Not even take the bait, because I think she does agree with her friend, but at the same time, I do think there's a point in it where it's like, okay, well, fine. Give me notes. Whatever. I'll fix it. I'm perfect. It's fine.
And then you have Eloise, I don't want to get married. I want to sit in a field of flowers, Bridgerton, who absolutely killed me with the quote, it is difficult to know that you're constantly disappointing people just by walking into a room.
Yeah. Oh my God.
My heart broke. Because that's what she really thinks. She is so smart. She is so badass. She can't even see it because she doesn't have modern context. She thinks she's an entire screw up. It makes me so sad. Also, where does Cressida get off throwing shade at her in the second episode?
I know. Literally?
She's not Daphne.
No.
She couldn't be anything less like Daphne. If you don't see that, you're stupid, Cressida. Speaking of Cressida, Lord Corning has shown up.
It's true.
And he has arrived, and I said, oh, he's really cute, actually. But I believe when we were watching it, you said he looks like Michael Cera. And now I can't unsee it.
He does. He absolutely does.
He does. He doesn't act like Michael Cera. He's kind of being an ass.
Yes, he's very much an ass. In a very Regency era type way, where you're just like, you're behaving kind of well, but also, I wish you would stop.
Yeah, that. Especially flirting with Cressida. He's trying to flirt with Cressida, and it's gross.
It's so gross. And it's like, what are you doing? And he's doing it so blatantly, but Cressida's also gross, so she's just leaning right in.
Honestly, maybe they're a good match for each other.
Yeah, two grossies. Grossing it up together.
Just being disgusting. Oh, but this is a problem for them because, as Lady Featherington points out, as soon as he gets married, she's the lady of the house. They don't have squat anymore. It's what Mrs. Bennet worries about in Pride and Prejudice all the time.
Totally.
And once again, it's a cousin, and she's like, what if one of you got married? But we don't really get into that yet.
Yeah, we're inching our way.
We're inching our way to just something that I'm sure is going to be very stupid.
Totally.
Because it's the Featheringtons.
And they gotta be dumb. Like, that's what it is.
I'm holding out to see how dumb Lord Corning ends up being. He is related to them.
I know.
Is he stupid, or is he going to save the family?
It's true. On that note, what do you think, as we wrap up, what do you think is like a Lady Whistledown headline we might see in these next coming episodes?
I'm not sure what exactly the headline will be, but I'm looking for something with a bit of a feminist slant for Eloise. I'm hoping that she really does take that to heart and kind of just becomes a voice for the women. I hope, like, Eloise goes on this women's rights kick, because also she gets a pamphlet in one of these episodes that I think is going to play into the future. She reads this, like, very new ideas, new way of work in society pamphlet down in the less desirable part of town, and she meets a young lad who is sparking ideas for her.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be something. I didn't notice him at the time. I didn't write anything down, but this young lad could be something. I'm still holding out hopes that Eloise is gay, but also I'm not, because that would be very sad for her in this time period.
In this time period, I also, like, and she's such, like, I get headline-wise, like, I get such strong vibes from her that it is going to be something, but also I'm obsessed with your idea that she's like, I'm single forever, which she also brought up to Kate.
She did. I need her and Kate to be best friends.
Forever. Honestly, oh my God.
They're very, very similar. Eloise and Anthony are actually also very similar.
Yeah.
They're both really stubborn in like a very, I don't want to say masculine way, but in a much less soft way than Daphne is stubborn.
Very much.
And my one last thing that I do want to say is I had 2 That's My Wife moments from Anthony. In episode 2, Anthony's That's My Wife moment of the episode is when he sees Kate upon delivering the horse. Just when he sees her. The face he makes is priceless. And in episode 2, it is the moment that they are playing, in episode 3, it is the moment that they are playing croquet and he says, we could pluck them out of the mud. Nobody would know. Nobody would see it. And she's like, but I would know. You know how I know they're perfect for each other? I'm not even sure if I remembered who said what there correctly. Either of them could say it.
Yes! Oh, you're so right.
But his moment specifically is when she lifts up her hem and steps into the mud. He's shocked. He doesn't know what to say. And in the back of his mind, he is going, that's my wife.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Oh, you're so right. Drinking game rule. Anytime Anthony has a that's my wife moment.
Shot.
Shot.
Not a sip. Shot.
Heckin' down it.
And on that note, this has been Whistledown, Pinkies Up. I am Melanie Weir.
And I'm Carly Polistina. Tune in next time
For the next 2 episodes.